Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has announced plans by the Tinubu administration to offer 6 months of free skill training to Nigerians to meet the needs of the industry. This initiative, according to the minister, aims at addressing the 2 million job vacancies in the country. Dr. Alausa said this at the 3rd edition of the 2025 Ministerial Press Briefing session in Abuja on Thursday. He noted, amongst other things, that the ministry is implementing measures to promote science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education to meet the country's skill gaps.
Looking at a girl child, the female population, we have 20 million adolescent girls today in Nigeria between the ages of 12 and 19. And 6 million of those young Nigerians are out of school. And with a fertility rate of about 103 births per thousand, we have our population is projected to rise in the next 25 years to 400 million. We have to sprint. Today, we have clear strategies on how to do this, to address all these challenges that have laid before Nigerians. We've come up with clear agenda under our Nigerian education sector renewal initiative with clear strategic goals, which is moving a nation from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. We have that capacity. Nigeria has a unique demography in the world. Very unique. Good democracy, good demography that we need to tap. We have a population of 220 million people. Of these 220 million people, 70% of that population, they would be below the ages of 30 years. But vibrant, youthful population, dynamic population, eager to learn, eager to work, making changes, both in Nigeria, globally, and globally. So what do we need to do as a government is to equip them with the skills that they need. And that's what we're doing exactly as the Ministry of Education, to move our country from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. Clear strategic goal to reduce the number of out-of-school children, reduce learning poverty, increase skills and human capital development. We have a clear 3 pillars of how we're going to do this and how we're doing this. Equitable access to basic education that will give us, that include increased level of literacy, numeracy, and critical thinking with skills. Reducing the burden of our out-of-school children and integrating these kids into formal education, giving them formal education, and beyond formal education, giving them life skills for them to be able to be useful to themselves, to the community they live, to the country and the world at large.
Well, a lawyer and public affairs analyst Maxwell Opara joins us now to discuss these developments. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Tobe. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here once again.
Well, we heard what the minister had to say. In your opinion, what are some of the current skill gaps within the Nigerian aviation workforce that need to be addressed? I know you're a lawyer and a public affairs analyst, but in your submission, what are some of the areas that should be focused on within the aviation sector?
Well, thank you for that question. I think Mr. Fesuskemo and in his submission made some issues of bilateral relationship and what have you. I think the most important one that is facing us, which he also mentioned, is this high cost of local flight here. Then, and unnecessary cancellation of flights. So these are the issues that he needs to address. Then secondly, let us have only one airport, international airport, at least that of Abuja or Lagos, where that can meet at least standard of what we are seeing abroad. If you go to Abuja International Airport, You will see construction going on there. Every year you continue to see construction. In their press briefing, what I'm seeing is theory. We need to see practicalization of all these things for goodness sake. Yes, Festus Keyamo is doing well. Of course, as we normally say, in the land of the blind, one-eyed man becomes a king. If you compare what is happening in aviation industry and what we have seen previously, where somebody will just wake up, say that he has launched Nigerian Airways and rush to Equatorial Guinea, get one aircraft, launch it, and just do whatever thing that he feels that Nigeria will appreciate. But now, from what Keyamo is doing in the infrastructural development of our various airports and the issue of a bilateral relationship, taking steps to ensure that our own local flights here, our own indigenous local flights here have say in, just like what we have in APs, having a grant in Gatwick Airport there in London. So that of Keyamo, I can say that he's doing something in the aviation industry. But we need to do more. We need to see this unnecessary cancellation of flights. Somebody will ask you that you are in the airport, no notification. They will tell you that the flight has been cancelled and ask you to go to hell. And nothing will happen. So you should do something about it. If you are coming up with legal framework, then NCC, they are not doing much. Because for you to cancel flight or to reschedule your flight, you should be able to give the person notice, adequate notice, not asking the person to go to hell, and nothing will happen. So NCC are not doing something, so you should look a way to handle all those issues, so that when you cancel flight or when you reschedule flight, something should be done. Then arbitrary increase of a flight, you will see that from Abuja to Maiduguri, they will say 120,000. Then from Abuja to Imo State, they will tell you 160,000 naira, and nobody will give you adequate information or analysis that gave rise to that increase. So these are the areas I feel that need adequate and urgent attention. Then on the what is talking about bilateral this, bilateral that, I think Nigeria, we are waiting until we see the practicalization aspect of it.
Now, Mr. Festus Keyamo talked about the Fly Nigeria Act, an initiative mandating government officials to prioritize local airlines for official trips. How feasible or how feasible is this plan?
Of course, you don't need to force Nigeria. You don't need to convince Nigeria. Just like when your local flights are providing the necessary facilities, giving the adequate services that needed. You don't need to tell, if I'm traveling to UK now, and if I'm traveling to London and the APC is there, and I know that APC will give me something that BA cannot give me, British Air, I will go for APs for goodness sake. You don't need to force people to privatize. If your local flight is good in a cancellation of flight, delaying of flight, and you want them to privatize what? Or just like what we are seeing in Nigeria here. If you have 7 o'clock flight and you schedule your program, you are not sure of traveling. You may get to the airport, they tell you that it has been cancelled. Flight has shifted from 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 4. And nothing will happen. And nobody will be held responsible. So you don't need to come up with a legal framework. You don't need to force people. You don't need to put it on paper. Just let the local flight do what they're supposed to do. Then people will patronize them. That is my take on that.
All right, and let's shift the discussion to the education sector now. What are some of the ways that Nigeria can bridge this gap, this education gap, in order to meet the demands of an ever-changing global workforce?
Now, on that of education, to be honest with you, I don't see what is happening in that ministry. I went to that place and I was coming from there. I tried to get what they are doing for me to balance I don't know what everything is theory. Theory. Okay, when you are talking about you are the one out of school children, what are you doing about it? Are you not seeing some persons working in Asokoro, in Maitama, in FCT, begging by 10 a.m. in the morning during school hour? I'm talking about 5, 7, 8, 10 years children. Are you not seeing them in Abuja here? What are you doing? Are we not seeing where some people are having their lectures under mango tree? Are you not seeing them? Are you not seeing where people, you pack about 50, 60 persons in a particular hall in the name of receiving lectures? Go to University of Abuja, go to Unilag, go to University of Nigeria, and what have you. So we need to see all these issues. You are talking about the free-scale training acquisition. Who are those benefiting? Not that the federal government has approved 40 billion. Federal government has approved 30 billion. Who are those benefiting? Most of the times you discover that when you now send this money, you said that you are equipping library. Here in this country, I have seen where they supply books in a library. Immediately after the documentation, do everything, they now give it back to the person who supplied it and collect money from him. It do happen. So these are the issues. If you need to put a mechanism in place to see all these things, the one you do, you show us. Who are those that benefited from those scales? Not that the 261, 430 in the north. We are tired of all this theory. We need practical. That is what I can say. If you want to Google what the achievement, because you ask people, when you say that you have given this particular money in a university, let's say Futo, or one primary school, who are those doing the contract? Have you inspected them? Have you asked people? I think the president should check to change this narrative of press briefing, gathering pressmen, talk to them, share them paper to publish. They should allow people to let them publish it, then we now respond. I think we need to change our style of this press briefing. Yes, whether you like it or not, if you come to FCT here, you will see that Wike is working. I'm not a fan of Wike and I'm not going to be his fan, but if you come here, you will know that he is working. You will see things on ground. Are you getting what I'm saying? You ask anybody in FCT here, any village, everywhere, you see construction going on. These are what we need. All this issue of press briefing every month, you get to 2 ministers, they will come and talk to us, give us beautiful grammar, present paper for us, and ask us to go. We are tired of that.
Now, the Education Minister also talks about implementing measures to promote science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education. As a public affairs analyst, I'm wondering what sort of measures you would recommend in this regard.
So I'm talking about practicalization of it. All this implementation, all this framework, all these policies, we have been seeing them now. We have been seeing them since 1999 up to now. We have been seeing them. Every minister that comes will tell you his own program. Every minister that comes will tell you his own program. Apart from during the time of Jonathan, you will see it. You see, when you're talking about Alamajiri School, you will see them building, you will see people showing you what they are doing, practicalization. So all this implementation, I continue to say it, all this policy, beautiful Lego framework. I have set up a committee to reveal UBEC Act, all those things we have been hearing them. Before you could know it, Tobesi, let me tell you, immediately you enter, what do you call it, September, October now, to 2027 campaign, we take the center stage. Everybody will be going to his village to go and campaign. So what have you achieved for the few time you are here? That is my own take. So all this implementation, all these policies, they are beautiful. Have you implemented them? Don't tell us you will. 4 billion, 40 billion has been approved. 60 billion has been approved. If you come back in the next 3 months for your own briefing, you still give us the list. So that is the area we need to look at. The president needs to look at the practicalization. Show me. You said that you have sent this money for this particular project. Where is it? Take pressmen. Let them tell us the stage they are and when they are going to deliver. That is my take.
Well, we appreciate your take and we appreciate you appearing on the program this afternoon. Maxwell Opara, lawyer and public affairs analyst, thanks for joining Newsday.